यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण राम राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे बोल हरे बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल, जय गौरा हरि बोल। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शिशुमति डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjnashalakaya Chakshuvannilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaः। Chaitanya-manoveeshtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा। हरे हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा। Please recite this verse 8.6.24. यूयं तत् अनुमोदध्वं यदिच्छन्ति यदिच्छन्त्यसुरासुराः न संरम्भेण सिद्ध्यन्ति सर्वार्थाः सान्त्वया यथा। यूयं तदनुमोदध्वं यदिच्छन्त्यसुरासुराः न संरम्भेण सिद्ध्यन्ति सर्वार्थाः सान्त्वया यथा। यूयं तदनुमोदध्वं यदिच्छन्त्यसुरासुराः न संरम्भेण सिद्ध्यन्ति सर्वार्थाः सान्त्वया यथा। यूयं तदनुमोदध्वं यदिच्छन्त्यसुरासुराः न संरम्भेण सिद्ध्यन्ति सर्वार्थाः सान्त्वया। माताजी यूयं तदनुमोदध्वं यदिच्छन्त्यसुरासुराः न संरम्भेण सिद्ध्यन्ति
सर्वार्थासात्वया यथा।
माताजी यूयं तदनुमोदध्वम् यदिच्छन्त्यसुराः न संरम्भेण सिद्ध्यन्ति सर्वार्थासात्वया यथा। यूयं, all of you, tat, that, anumodadvam, should accept, yat, whatever, icchanti, they desire, asuraha, the demons, suraha, oh demigods, no, not, samrambhena, by being agitated in anger, siddhyanti, are very successful, sarva artaha, all desired ends, santvaya, by peaceful execution, yatha, as. Translation: my dear demigods, with patience and peace, everything can be done. But if one is agitated by anger, the goal is not achieved. Therefore, whatever the demons ask, agree to their proposal. Na bhetavyam kalakotat vishat jaladhi sambhavat lobha karyo navo jatu roshak kamastu vastushu. A poison known as Kalakuta will be generated from the ocean of milk, but you should not fear it. And when various products are churned from the ocean, you should not be greedy for them or anxious to obtain them, nor should you be angry. Purport by His Divine Grace, as Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It appears that by the churning process, many things would be generated from the ocean of milk, including poison, valuable gems, nectar, and many beautiful women. The demigods were advised, however, not to be greedy for the gems or beautiful women, but to wait patiently for the nectar. The real purpose was to get the nectar. Welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. Today, we are discussing on a very special topic, as you see here. And although it is written as caution, don't get frightened. I am changing the title. This is a better title. The challenges and opportunities while moving from small temple to big temple. I was reading a couple of verses just now. You can see the Supreme Lord Vishnu is so powerful that he could even bring about a truce between demigods and demons. And they unitedly work together to produce the nectar. You can see that, isn't it? Not a very easy thing to do. So there is a great secret lesson behind this pastime of Samudra Manthan Leela. Once I heard a very elaborate lecture from my spiritual master on this point, on this topic. He was telling the Amritam, which comes finally, that is actually Krishna Prem, what we all are aspiring for. Ultimately, what we are looking for in Krishna conscious lifestyle? Krishna Prem. That's ultimate attainment. But before we get Krishna Prem, many things will come. Like you see, initially, there is a truce between demigods and demons. Similarly, within our heart, there is a tug of war going on between, animal and angel-like nature. two natures. There is a Ravan within us and Hanuman within us. So we want to nourish whom? Hanuman. We want to destroy the Ravan and nourish the Hanuman. So because in the same manner, Asuras and Devatas are, churning the milk ocean. The churning is like churning happening in our own heart also. And while churning, here the Lord is giving instruction to the demigod. Na bhetavyam kalakutat, vishad jaladi sambhavat. He's saying that sometimes poison will come. Don't get frightened. Don't quit the project and go away. Similarly, we find in ISKCON societies also, people come and become devotees. If there are some little problems in the community with some devotee, they become so averse to the devotee that they say that I cannot come to the temple. They stop coming to temple, stop connecting with the whole community, and they go away. And those who quit, then they cannot go back to Godhead. Then they will have to again, come back to purify the heart again. But Lord will watch which members of the community survive and continue doing seva. Like one time, two ladies had a tussle who were serving in the temple. One lady stopped coming because she had a tussle with the other lady. She says, every time I come, I have to see her. I don't want to see her face, so I won't come to temple. But she went down in spiritual life for a period of time. So then Senior Mataji told her, see, by stopping coming to temple, who is the loser? You are the loser. So better you come and your relationship is with your spiritual master and with Krishna and with other Vaishnavas, whomever you are able to work with. You come, because in temple good things are happening. Then she started coming again, she blossomed in devotion service. So much so that she was able to forgive the other lady and become friends again. Is it? So therefore one should not quit, although there may be difficulties. So Lord had told the Devatas, you should not give up the endeavor to get the Amritam. Our goal is to get Krishna Prem, but sometimes small fights happen due to which we want to, give up the company of devotees, which is very foolish thing to do. So Lord said, don't quit. Secondly, He said, by anger, nothing good can come out. If you are going to fight for tolerance, respect, and freedom from false prestige, these type of sublime qualities, that is actually a sign of advance. Not only that, steadiness in spiritual life, persistence in spiritual life, never giving up and going away in spiritual life. These are real good qualities we should aspire. And not only that, willingness to forgive, forget, and be friendly, even with those who may be inimical to us. These are very fine qualities, actually. One should aspire for such qualities in spiritual life. And getting an opportunity to do some seva. So these are very nice things that we should aspire for. But oftentimes, unfortunately, living entities don't aspire for these things. They aspire for the other one which I told you, which is called power, prestige, politics. We call it 3 Ps, PPP. Power, prestige, and politics. So we want some power to control others. Like one time we made one devotee in charge for crowd control. So he was given a stick also. You wear a cap and you have a stick. Just because you are given a stick, you can't beat the devotees. Correct? But you are supposed to, you're taking the stick and you push the devotees like that. And some devotees complained that his treatment is not correct, is improper. Later on, the manager told him that, see, if you are crowd control, you should lovingly ask the devotees to move. He said, loving and all doesn't work, Prabhuji. They are crowded. So then the devotee said, you are not good for this. You better go to the kitchen. You can stir the that you forcibly can. Isn't it? So therefore, some services are difficult. Politely and firmly, you have to do the service. So you will see that when we have some tendency to control in material consciousness, we have some tendency to possess, we have some tendency to control and boss over people, and we have some tendency to enjoy. So these 3 tendencies may come out in our devotion service as Tamaguni, Rajoguni, Satoguni type of bhakti, which is explained in the 3rd canto. Abhisandaya yogim sam dambam matsaryame bhava tam rambi binna drigbhavam sa bhakti tamasamuchyate. He says, Avisandayo himsam. Himsam means a violent devotee. Dambha means a proud devotee. Matsarya means envious. And Samrami means angry. Bhinnadrik means separatist mentality. So these mentalities are also possible in neophyte stage. And that is why one may quit in anger and go away due to passion, or one may become greedy. That's what Lord told. Don't be greedy, don't be angry, don't be lusty. Don't quit and go away. Just persist. Because when these gifts will come, uh, I may give something to the demons, I may give something to all of you. Whatever is given to you, you accept. And you should be peaceful. And continue doing the project, because the goal of your project is not these items. The goal of your project is Amritam. Similarly, we have come to ISKCON for what? To get Krishna Prem. If that is a goal, why to bother about the intermediate goals which we may not get? Correct, no? One shouldn't get sidetracked by some of the petty goals that you miss. So our sight is distracted by some of the intermediate things, you see. Like, for example, sometimes while working in a team of devotees, if somebody has a problem with somebody, how can you continue working with them? There is only one possibility. If you love for Guru, you can work. Otherwise, you cannot. If you love Guru, you know that Guru wants us to cooperate. Prabhupada wants us to cooperate. So you work with them. Because, and also everybody has their own individual idiosyncrasies, we call it. Idiosyncrasies means their swabhava, their natures. So, and you may think that you are tolerating them, but they are also tolerating you. So, therefore, everybody is to tolerate one another and go on in the community. Correct now? Staying. So, Lord told them, don't forget the goal. You are here in this Samudra Manthan Leela only for getting Amritam. Keep that very strongly in your mind. Even if you lose anything prior to that, don't bother too much about it. You are not given any position, don't worry. You don't have power to influence others or control others, don't worry. You don't have any big prestige. People clicking your photo and falling at your feet, rolling on the ground. If people don't do that, there is no one to even look at you. People see through you. If somewhere else, nobody bothers about you. Don't worry. Because these are not what you have come for. And you should be very clear about what you want, what you have come for. You see, you will find that the role of servant of the servant is actually the most cherished role by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers also. Therefore, you will see that although this is the most important thing, many people will not go after this. Like, for example, you go to the kitchen and ask them, Prabhu, can I cut some little sabji? All right. Will anybody be angry with you for that? They will say, most welcome, Prabhu. Correct, no? If somebody goes and says, Prabhu, can I do some kirtan in the evening? Especially non-prime time, when crowd is not much. Can I sit in temple hall and do kirtan? Nobody will mind. Prime time, there is competition. You will find there is a competition for the mic. You will see that. Yeah. Because, for example, one person is leading kirtan. Others are singing. Now, who is singing the Mangalarti or Narsingarati? He is the only one singing, or others are also singing. So you get chance to sing, no? But singing into this, that one gets special kick. Correct, no? Somehow holding the mic in the hand because I lead and others. That's where that kick comes that I can control. So, therefore, it's very simple what we are talking now. You go for leading service, there is big competition everywhere. You want to lead a department, you want to lead a service, you want the prime time where you want to attract the living entities to yourself, then there's a big competition. There are, even after you become devotees, there can be competition amongst devotees that why this leading time was given to that group, not to this group, and things like that. But for whichever group is leading and singing, you come behind and sit. Is there competition for that? Prabhu, when your group is leading Kirtan, can I also join for singing? Will anybody be upset? Why are you coming? They will say, most welcome. They will say, if you come, we'll give you prasad also. If you come we bring a whole group and sit behind and you follow us. So, for following in this world, there is no competition. Competition only for. Therefore, Lord said, If I tell you to catch the Vasuki's mouth side, you catch. If I tell you to catch the tail side, you catch. And demigods were ready for anything because they had full trust in Lord Vishnu. Similarly, we should have trust in Guru and Krishna, whatever plan they have made for us. So we should not bring our own emotions and our own reservations while dealing with other devotees. We should always remember that my spiritual master is watching me. Shil Prabhupada is watching me. What will Acharyas think if I behave like this? So we have to go on with our spiritual life peacefully, ultimately keeping in mind Krishna Prema is the goal. So now, what are the challenges and opportunities when we move from a small temple to big temple? Hmm? Like you will see when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Shiva Sangha, there was very sweet, loving relationship with all the associates. Correct, no? He had Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he had Srivas and Thakur. Eventually, Nityan Prabhu came and joined him also in the Nandanacharya's house. And Mahaprabhu used to do beautiful dancing kirtan, and they all got to watch it personally. And it was like a small family, very intimate family. Later on, Mahaprabhu said, why do kirtan only indoors? Why not do outdoors? Let us take it out. And Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas. And then he took sannyas and went to Jagannath Puri, and then he went for South India preaching subsequently. And and later on, Mahaprabhu was not only satisfied just chanting and dancing. He said, I want to expand the mission of Krishna consciousness for the large number of living entities. Prithivitya Chayadi, Nagarati. He brought those 6 Goswamis. He brought Tapan Mishra from Bangladesh, son of Tapan Mishra is Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. He brought him. And from son of Venkata Bhatta, who is that? Gopal Bhatta Goswami from Srirangam. Then Rup Sanatan from Karnataka, but they settled in Bengal. They had become ministers of Nawab Hussain Shah. And they were great ministers, very shrewd, very intelligent. Many years at work. Candidates. He brought Sakar Malik Dabirkar, so they became Rup Sanatan. And they had a nephew, Jiva Goswami, very, very highly talented in Sanskrit as well as devotional service. So he brought, in this way, Sri Rupa Sanatana, and then Raghunath Das, born in Saptagram, a very great multimillionaire son, but who was pure-hearted and captivated by Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So in this way, Mahaprabhu assembled a band of 6 Goswamis and then sent them to Vrindavan. For them, he gave them a mission that excavate the holy places, build the temples, and write the spiritual text, which will be very nicely condensed version of devotion service from all the scriptures, and worship the deity, and set a good example and teach the people how to practice devotional service. So, and this is how he made a plan to expand. And Srila Prabhupada exactly followed this model. First, he himself, 45 years, if you will see, lifetime in preparation. So Mahaprabhu also prepared himself in Shiva Sangan, and then came to Jagannath Puri, and then he started preaching outdoor going. So Prabhupada also went outdoor to the West. There he established temples, there he established communities. He wrote more than 100 books, and then came back to India. And he said, my Guru told me to preach in the West. Now I have done that. Now I have one personal desire. He said, I want to come to India and preach in India also. So he started. So in this way, you will see as the movement expands, certain challenges we will face, and there are also good opportunities. For example, there is a joy when you go to a big temple that the number of devotees is going to be more. That means more preaching is happening. So more people get connected, and more bhakti will start also. So more the merrier, because then the preaching is expanding. Our spiritual master is happy. Prabhupada is very happy. That's one very big plus point. And another thing, many preachers get opportunity to lead. Now I was telling you just now, few minutes ago, there is a competition for leading. But when the community is very big, there is also more opportunity for leading also. Correct, no? So more people can lead departments, more people can lead preaching, more people can lead many services. Amount of services will be less or more? More. So more services and more departments, more leading opportunities, and more talented devotees get opportunity. Correct, no? So that is another big plus point, and the community also builds more and more. And at the same time, the sweetness and the intimacy in a very small temple, which is like one family. sometimes can get lost if you are not very careful. Hmm? Like you have seen in a family, uh, like a father, mother, and maybe, two daughters, two sons. They're sitting and eating prasad in the morning and evening together. It's a small, sweet family. But then when children grow up, then the sons, daughters get married. Uh, then daughter may go to another place. The two sons may be living. Then business comes. So as the family expands, now the two sons have got their wives and their children. Hmm. And then as the family expands, you will see when money comes into the picture, when the division of property comes in a family, sometimes facilities, amenities, all these things come. Then there are unhealthy comparisons, and there can be challenges as the family expands. So that's why you find in India there are joint families where you find 40, 50, 60, 80 people are also there in some joint family. Even today you find some families. And you will find one person at the top with a turban, very old man, and he is actually the one who has won the trust of all the people in the family. Hmm. Huh? Mature leadership. And then sometimes you find that people lose trust because of certain uh, uh, erratic behavior with one another. Then everybody want to take their property and go. So this type of division comes. Joint families are now dismantled. They become nuclear families. So the joy of joint family is if a lady begets a child, she doesn't have to worry about the child so much. The child has got kaka, child has got mama, child has got dada. So many people. She has her own time, lot of free time. But a nuclear family, the child totally depends on the mother. Hmm. Mother gets sometimes so much fed up. She's asking the husband, "Can you do babysitting also? Can you also take care?" Yeah. Then the husband becomes busy with his work. Then he gives back only two of them have to take care. In a joint family, there are 40 people, 50 people. You know how easy it is. Prasadam also is cooked. Daily you don't have to cook. Some day you cook, other days others will cook. you know. So, joint family, there are multiple advantages. But in a small, when you become nuclear family, individual, a lot of responsibility comes. So when devotees become independent, also it is not very good. They have to stay collectively with other devotees. So, uh, okay, here you can see small to big transition means growth in infrastructure. Hmm. For example, now one new temple is under construction here at ICC, South Bangalore, and that's coming up very soon. So you have new infrastructure. Then financial managerial system structures and policies have to be made. A number of devotees in the community swells up. Number of leaders also increase. And what are the opportunities? As I told you, no. You can enhance the service quality by making systems for rendering better service to the visitors. Hmm. And the field of expansion is going to increase. And this temple can be like a battalion from where many soldiers, couples, and brahmacharis, they are sent out to different parts of Bangalore, nook and corner, and a lot of preaching can happen. And um, these are some of the challenges mentioned here. To keep cooperation and unity in diversity, it needs more discussions amongst the leaders and may slow down the processes. See, in a small family, one man can make a decision and everybody follow. Life becomes very easy and doesn't take much time. Huh? Like when we were in camp temple in Pune also, anybody wants anything in temple, just they will either meet me or give a call to me and I will tell them do this and the job is done. But when you go to a bigger temple, then managing a bigger temple by one person becomes very challenging. Therefore, along with the president, we also have a committee also. A committee sometimes of 5 people, 8 people, 10 people also committee. So when multiple people come together, they have diverse thinking also. They have diverse thinking. Different people may think differently. For example, some people may be very conservative about spending money. Others may say, "Why are you bothered about spending money? You know, Krishna is whose husband? Husband of goddess of fortune is Madhava. We just spend money and Krishna will send more. What is the problem?" They have two dramatically opposite opinions. Correct, no? And one person feels that, "Prabhu, people are not coming for Sunday feast lecture. They come at the end only for prasad. Let us simply give sambar rice, that's all." Another fellow says, "How can we give sambar rice? We should give opulent prasad. We should give 8 course feast, 10 course feast." And he will quote from Prabhupada Lilamrita or something. In Prabhupada's times, how was a love feast made? So there can be diverse opinion about things. spending money, cooking prasad, and what should be allowed, what should not be allowed. When you go for a big temple. For example, this is a great paradox. His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj came to Pune, and the big temple came. So he came, he was giving a Bhagavatam class. He was selling, when you make a big temple, the expenditure is also big. It's also very big. Then you have to also cultivate that kind of people who will also donate big amount of money. So then when you cultivate and bring those people to temple, then you have to be careful what you speak in the lecture. He said, the purpose of a big temple is to speak the philosophy and make devotees. But when these people come, you have to be very careful. Hey, don't say Krishna. Don't say Rama. Don't they directly don't introduce everything. New people, be very careful so that they don't get hurt. So you have to pamper them. So he said, what is the purpose of building a new temple, big temple? And also sometimes in order to be commercially viable, you may start a Govindas. So sometimes when you have a Govindas, the Govindas, you may not get employees who are devotees. Many times you may start with devotees, but eventually devotees go away here, there. Devotees are always busy. Devotees sometimes keep moving one place to another. They may not stick on, and they cannot. If Govindas has to cater for a marriage, then those guys have to stay awake till 1 o'clock and all, so which doesn't suit the life of devotees. So slowly devotees move out of the job and they think of something else. So then you have to employ karmis. When you employ karmis, the food quality is not very, prasadam quality is not great. So, and also then it becomes like an enterprise and commercial. So people see that the gift stall, like, some congregation devotees also go to Vrindavan and they'll purchase all the beads, everything in big quantity and bring, and they'll give it to their group members. So we saw in Pune, our gift stall was little annoyed in the early days. Prabhu, we are selling here. Why are they not buying from here? They're going and buying in Vrindavan. Because everybody knows the reason why. In Vrindavan, you get a bead bag for 20 rupees. Here it is 60 rupees. So people think that is more, but economical. But actually, the 60 rupees which they give, it goes to whose service? Deity service. So ideally speaking, one should be magnanimous to buy from a gift stall in the local temple, so that ultimately we are serving the deities only. If all the leaders and subordinates, leaders are buying everything locally and they tell the subordinates, everybody will oblige also. But generally, leaders also want to save money. So they go to Vrindavan and bring 100 bead back, 50 bead back. The beads, everything they bring. And they will tell the devotees, see, this gift stall is too costly, don't buy here. So then it becomes difficult. Then they label us as commercial. One fellow asked me in Pune, why you people have such commercial things? I asked, what commercial? He said, this Govindas gift stall. I asked him, do you eat in the Govindas? I asked him. He said, yes. Then people like you want to eat, therefore we made Govindas. Correct, he's saying. and I told, go to the gift stall and see what are we selling. Are we selling some cinema things, any movie things? Are we selling anything? Are we sending some? You go and watch. Every item is what item? And the gift stall. All spiritual items. All are spiritual items. So then why do you label it commercial? It is devotional. It's not commercial. So you may think that it is like boutique is made, some kind of gift stall is made, Govindas is made. Ultimately, it's made for the service of the community members, as well as those whom you want to connect newly. Like somebody want to celebrate a birthday, they want a banquet hall, they come to the temple. There are such people also who want to celebrate a birthday or marriage anniversary day, and they bring people and they eat in the Govindas, they buy some things from gift stall, they come and take darshan in the temple. And that is the way they advance in spiritual life. So in ISKCON, nothing is commercial. Everything is devotional. But we label as commercial and we commit offense. So, but unfortunately, when number of people increase, people give criticism and comments loosely with their tongue without even contemplating and considering what they are saying. Many times you will see that. So the temple, many temples make these kind of items in order to make it commercially viable, so that temple can run, which is not a wrong idea, but that is perceived by some of the community members and new people as something money-making thing. They think like that. So this kind of foolish criticisms can come when we go for a big temple, correct? No? So therefore, when there is a diversity amongst the people, there is a challenge. The Prabhupada gave a solution for that. Prabhupada was not a person who will settle for a small thing. He said, let there be big temples, there's no problem. But Prabhupada said, there should be unity and diversity. We will talk about that in the next few slides. I will show you how do we do that unity and diversity. When there is diversity, it slows down the process. When there is unity, the process is speeded up. So, for example, in Hyderabad, we are four of us: myself, His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, His Grace Vedant Prabhu, and His Grace Sitaram Prabhu. All four of us are from four different communities in India. And we got enough years of 20, 30 years of experience. Then when we come together in Hyderabad, so easy to manage temple because we are easy to bend very easily. Like for example, if one of them feels that it will be nice if we can do this, other three quickly agree, no problem. And two of them feel that this can be postponed, other two will immediately agree, no problem. Because we have been staying in communities and developing so many years, the flexibility, the bendability, the adaptability, willingness to respect others' opinions. When these things come, it's very easy for unity. Mm. But if the devotees are very passionate about their opinions, then they will insult other devotees. They will disrespect other devotees' opinions. And because they are not well versed in Vaishnava culture, that a lack of Vaishnava culture will come in lack of organizational culture also. What is the difference between the two? Vaishnava culture, everybody knows. Any devotee has to practice Vaishnava culture. Hmm. For example, one should not raise the tone while speaking to other Vaishnavas. One should not, in a public place, one should not criticize Vaishnavas. And one should not be angry on a Vaishnava. One should actually feel joy upon seeing a Vaishnava, ideally speaking. So when you come together in a meeting, we may see the others more as managers rather than as Vaishnavas. Hmm. And we may sometimes ridicule somebody's opinion, or we may disrespect or belittle somebody's opinion. So from belittling nature, we should come to respecting nature. From arrogant speech, we should come to humble speech. From a cruel behavior, we should come to compassionate behavior. Isn't it? And from adamant behavior of lust means adamant. From adamant behavior, we should become flexible and adaptable in behavior from rigid behavior, isn't it? From being greedy for somebody is already successful and somebody else is being given opportunity. This fellow thinks, no, I want that also. I want this also. I want everything. I want the best things under me. All these services should be under me. And all the useless services, you all take it. If imagine if two, three people are like that. So that kind of, there's a greedy. From a greedy thing, one should come to the platform of satisfaction. Satisfaction means let other Vaishnavas also flourish. Why should all the best services be under me? Let somebody else also do best services and let them also become happy. We should want to see other Vaishnavas happy. So in this way, by having a change of heart transformation, we will become pliable Vaishnavas. It's called malleable. Malleable is the right word. Malleable means like, some metals you can make them into plates. You know that? Maybe some other metals, if you try to make plate, they'll break. Like in a glass, if you hit the glass to make it a plate, it will break. Isn't it? On the other hand, this China clay. So we should be like China clay or glass. How many of you know China clay? You know the China clay? The children are given in the schools, they give them for making some different kinds of, they can mold anything they can do. Is that correct? No? They make like, so, or we should be like a rubber ball, not a glass ball, as we say. So when we become that's called seasoned managers. Seasoned managers means they have deep respect for one another. They have affection for one another. They have good feelings for each other. And they also have deep trust in each other. And they will never talk ill of one another in their absence. And even if they feel some problem with one another, they will talk to each other. They will not talk about each other. They will talk, not. We're talking about each other is the cause of smoke in a community. Talking to each other helps. Really. And also, for example, if one of the managers wants to push through something, but others are not seeming to be agreeing, and he tries to one more give push till they are not agreeing, what should he do? He should accept that Krishna is speaking through these Vaishnavas. If majority Vaishnavas don't like this idea, although I like it, then I can wait. Maybe in future we will plan it and we'll keep it for the future. One can think like that. So that means, for example, even Lord Krishna, in the pastime of Ashwatthama's punishment, if you see, again, there you find Draupadi is saying Ashwatthama should not be killed. Yudhishthira is agreeing with her because she gave 6 reasons. Dharmyam, Nyayam, Nirgalikam, Samam, Sakarunam, Mahat. 6 reasons she gave. And all very, very, solid reasons. She said, is it dharma that you are killing the disciple of your own guru? Killing the son of your own guru? Not dharma. And also she said, then dharma, Nyayam. Actually, this is Nyayam, first one. And then the dharmam, she said, a brahmana should not be killed. Brahmahatya is very dangerous. One shouldn't do it. So dharmam, Nyayam, Sakarunam. She said that only a woman can know the heart of another woman. Now I lost my 5 children. So I am crying. And I don't want to see Kripi also cry like that. So therefore, she's Sakarunam. And then, like that, she said, and Mahat, we should not do Mahat Aparad for a great family like Dronacharya and his son, because that will bring it will bring some great calamity upon the Kshatriyas. Like that, she said. So you will find she was very, very powerful in her arguments, and Yudhishthira heard it and nodded the head. And he said, perfect, Draupadi, I agree with you. Anyway, Yudhishthira was already soft also, by nature. Immediately agreed. And Nakul Sahadev were younger. They saw that Yudhishthira Maharaj is on this side, so they joined that side. Because they were very confident that Yudhishthira Maharaj cannot be wrong. They joined. But Bhima was on the other side. He said, what are you guys talking? If Arjuna, you have difficulty finishing him, I will finish him. He said, leave him to me. He said, huh? So then Arjuna said, wait a minute, I want to listen to everybody. And then Arjuna looked at Krishna, what to do? There's a divided opinion amongst the Vaishnavas. There are diverse opinions. What am I supposed to do? Krishna said, I am also on Bhima's side. Krishna also went and stood on Bhima's side. Because Krishna said, Yatatai must be killed. He should not be spared. At the same time, you decide, Arjuna, what do you think would be appropriate? The end result should be that all of us should be satisfied, he said. What a difficult challenge, you say. Huh? That means 2 sides are polarized. But he says, who should be satisfied? If Ashwatthama is killed, who will be delighting? Bhima. But Draupadi will be broken-hearted. Draupadi in this will say that you didn't listen to us. And if he spares his life, the other 2 will be. So what he did, Arjuna was looking at Krishna and because God inspires the devotee in their hearts. And immediately Arjuna, you know what he did? He cut off the jewel from his head. And Bhima was also satisfied. He said, you thoroughly humiliated him. Very good. That's very good. He was satisfied. Krishna was satisfied. And Draupadi and others were happy that his life was spared. So we should always find out how we can come up with a decision which will be accepted by all, which is not very easy to do. You can see Krishna, being Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not pushing through his decision. Even he himself is willing to listen but when it comes to Vaishnavas. Therefore, you will read in the section of Rishabhadev's instruction to his sons. Rishabhadev is saying that, better than the plants are the trees, better than the trees are the birds, better than the birds are the animals. He says, whether animals are humans, like that he goes on. And amongst the humans, the best humans are the teachers of the Vedic knowledge, the Brahmanas, he says. And then he's saying, this is greater than this is greater than this, and I am greater than all the humans, he says. And then he's saying, and the Brahmanas are better than me, he says. And amongst the Brahmanas, the Vaishnavas are best. So he says that although I am better than all these things, even Shiva and Brahma worship me. When it comes to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, I consider them even superior to me. Like that he says. Because he taught his 100 sons to worship the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Same with Prithu Maharaj also. When Prithu Maharaj called all the Praja for giving them Sadupadesh, there's a beautiful verse there. Viklabam sarvesham upakarartham tada anuvadanniva. This verse says he spoke Charu Chitrapadam. Very, very sweet words in which he spoke instructions to the Praja. Chitrapadam means they were filled with examples and analogies and little Shastric stories and real life examples and everything. So people could immediately understand when he spoke. And Sarvesham Upakarartham. He spoke in a way beneficial to all the Praja. He spoke like that. And Aviklavam, it was having such a clarity. There was not even an iota of ambiguity. So he was an ideal leader. He spoke very beautifully. And then what he did, he turned to the side where all the Brahmanas were sitting in one area and Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas sitting. So he folded his palm and told them, as a king, it's my duty to instruct the praja. At the same time, I wish to know from all of you, oh great devotees of the Lord, whether what I spoke was appropriate or I committed any mistake. If you wish to correct or rectify any mistakes in what I spoke, you are free to do. Like that he told them. And then he told them, there are three people here, the hearers and the instruction giver and the approvers. You all are supposed to approve what I spoke. And all the three become obliged in this world, he said. Because if I speak something which is unfitting, not in line with Shastra, and you approved it, all three of us will get the share of sin, he said. Therefore, you all heard me what I spoke. Is it appropriate? And Brahmanas are so happy. They said, Sadhu, 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 sabash. They said, you spoke very beautiful, king. You purely spoke what Lord will speak to the praja. You are a transparent media, perfect representative. You don't have any inhibition or resistance in your heart, so you are speaking so beautifully. So they congratulated, because prior to him was Vena, who was blocking, he was opaque. He was not letting people become devotees of God. Whereas here, Prithu Maharaj was pure devotee, and he was also Shakti Vishavatara. So here again, like Rishabhadev, Prithu Maharaj is also giving great respect to Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. You will see that. Same thing Lord Kapila says, if you read 329, 3.29.9 onwards, 3.29, 20 chapter, if you read, Kapila says, if somebody is worshipping the deity in the temple, but not respecting my devotees, they are offering ghee in ashes. Like that he says. And he becomes angry. Actually, he becomes upset. He says that there is no point in you claiming to be my devotee if you do not give proper, respect to Vaishnavas. So in a forum where there are leaders coming together, those leaders are even more special Vaishnavas, because they have been chosen for leadership. They are not ordinary people. In fact, they are taking responsibility for others. So because on behalf of several people, they are taking responsibility. They deserve even more respect. So therefore, the respect, love, and trust, that only can bring about unity. And that Lord Krishna himself showed it in this particular decision making. You will see that. Another example I'll tell you. Narada took Priyavrata to the Gandamadana hill and gave him strong, powerful classes. And he made him a wonderful renunciate. Who? Priyavrat. The Priyavrat became a great renunciate, living in the Gandamadana Parvat, in the natural setting, chanting the holy names, hearing the Vedic scriptures. He had already made up his mind to go back home, back to Godhead. He had nothing to give and take with the world. At that time, Swayambhu Manu, father of Priyavrat, came and said, Priyavrat, your brother Uttanapad retired, and his son Dhruva retired, and then the dynasty continued for a while, but there is no one to rule the world now. There is no capable king now. So I'll be very grateful, because I am already old and I can't rule the world now. You should come and take up the rule better. Otherwise, if you don't do, how will the world run? And Priyavrat was very wonderful son, well-behaved son, but he politely refused. He sent off his father. He said, I know the situation. Please find out another person instead of me. I am already in renounced order. I can't come. He said. Because Narada was there. Narada did in a way. That now, tackle the situation, let him go on. Then Swayambhu Manu prayed to Brahma and told the world situation is so bad, we need a king, capable king to rule the world. Then Brahma understood the situation. Brahma is like GBC, is coming down. He himself came along in a swan carrier, surrounded by many rishis and demigods and everybody, and he landed in the Gandamadana Parvat. When he came and he spoke to Yakshat Sapatnan, Vijigishamana, he says that, my dear Priyavrat, I can see in you a capability to become a king of the world. You have the special Kshatriya talent in you, which you have not tapped. You have not brought that potential out. You are not just a person fit to be a monk. Yes, I agree that you have your Rishi's tendencies also. So, but you can be a Raja Rishi. That's one thing he told him. Another thing he told him, at the moment, you actually come in a royal lineage and you deserve to rule the world. and protect the people, protect the praja on behalf of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So at the moment, this is a requirement. And even if you want to be renunciate, do not forget the fact that you are going to forest with 6 wives. Who are the 6 wives? 5 senses and 1 mind. Taking them with you. So therefore, uh, having queens and living in the midst of the palace is not a very bad idea, provided you practice pure devotion service very purely. So then finally concluded, Brahma told him, you put yourself in between the 2 lotus feet of the Lord, which are like beautiful flower buds. Put yourself below the Lord's feet and just stay safe, my dear child. Do not worry. I assure you that you will be protected. When Brahma spoke like this, Prevrat was completely, because he had extreme respect for him, just like we all have respect for our spiritual master and GBCs. So he had deep respect. So he looked at Narada what to do. So here are 3 Mahajans, Narada, Swayambhava Manu, and Brahma. And all 3 are Mahajans. So which Mahajan to follow? All 3 are Mahajans. So he asked Narada what I should do now. Narada said, okay, take up the kingship of the world. Narada did not protest. He didn't privately take him and whisper him, I don't go. Now give some excuse and stay with me. He didn't say that. He said, yes, there's a need. He said, you can go. So all 3 had the same opinion. And then he agreed to take up the rule of the world against his own will. He was not interested, which means leader means he should be willing to forego his will, personal ideas and opinions. He's not the only example. Priyavrat is one example. Arjuna wanted to desist from the battle, but Krishna told him to fight the battle. And Dhruva Maharaj wanted to fight the battle and kill, not only kill Yakshas, wipe out the Yakshas. But he was told to stop fighting. All these people changed their will. Dhruva Maharaj changed, Arjuna changed, Priyavrat changed, Prithu Maharaj changed. Prithu Maharaj was told, stop with 99 yajnas. Don't do the 100th one. Because your effort to do the 100th one is causing insecurity in Indra, who is propagating so much irreligion. So, and also we don't want to see, Brahma said, me and Lord Vishnu, we don't want to see any quarrel between, one department and another department. Your earthly department is heavenly department. These 2 should be working collaboratively. We don't want to see you, have a misunderstanding that will cause havoc for the whole world. So, therefore, sometimes when you have multiple departments in the temple, sometimes the interests of 2 departments may collide. Sometimes there's a possibility, and both of them may be fuming, sniffing at each other, which is not a very good thing. So we have to find out a way by which both departments can be happy. One example I'll tell you. Now, when devotees are all in one community like this, together, it's very wonderful. Now, one devotee goes out to preach, and gradually that couple starts expanding preaching in one locality. And that program starts building up. 40, 50, 60, 100 people come. And all the people say, we can also build one mini temple or like a mini preaching center we can make. Then that becomes the extension center in the beginning. Then it becomes preaching center. So when it becomes a preaching center, then money is also required for putting up festival. So the people who are donating to the main temple, now they start donating locally to that program. So who is disturbed? The main temple is disturbed. So see, I am not just speaking this. We have experience in Pune. We have started 3 powerful preaching centers in Pune. One at Vishal Nagar, one Karnataka Prabhu, and one Mansur Prabhu, and 3 people. They have communities of each like 100, 200 people. So now they are going to make a kind of mini projects. Just like in Bangalore, there have been 3 temples here. Either they are also going to make. Now they need money for their festivals and everything. So what I suggested them, see, whatever money you collect, you give, earlier when the project is very small, I said 50% you give to temple and 50% you spend. I told them. They're doing. Now your project has become more big. So 25% you give to temple, like tax in the Vedic times also people would give 25%. And 70% you can keep. Correct now? So, of course, the main temple was very confused what to do. They wanted the whole amount. I told them just take 25%. They said, earlier the whole amount was coming to us. Now we are getting only 25%. What will happen to the other 70%? I told them, see, earlier you are getting 1 lakh. Now you will get only 25,000. But these fellows are going to collect more now. They collect 4 lakhs. Again, you will get only 1 lakh. Understand? Huh? See, earlier you were getting 1 lakh now. Now the tax they will give you is only 25,000 because they are collecting 1 lakh and give you 25. But if you wait for 1 year, now their amount of collection will be, it will be 4 lakhs. Then you will again get 1 lakh. So that way it's a win-win solution. They flourish and you also flourish. Nah, don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Allow the preaching to expand. Then they became happy with that. Then the other outside many projects asked, how long we have to pay 25? Can we stop paying now? See, everybody has their interest now. They want to run their project also. So in this world, we know that we should not be selfish. We should be selfless. At the same time, we feel some minimum at least we should keep. Like in Vrindavan, Prabhupada saw the plate of prasad offered to deities were too opulent and very huge. And multiple items. Prabhupada was taken by surprise. He said, oh, how many items you guys are offering? And then Prabhupada said, what do you do with this? He said, Prabhupada, after that, the different pujaris and those who are connected to the deity department, we share with them. Prabhupada said, no, everything cooked should be distributed to the grahasthas. Those who are coming to the temple, the visitors, distributed. The pujaris are confused. So the main pujari who used to keep some prasad for himself, he told the one pujari, tell Prabhupada that we will keep little bit for the pujaris and balance we will distribute. And when that fellow came and told Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, no, don't keep anything, distribute everything. Then that main pujari came and asked, but Prabhupada, what about us? For you, Radharani will save. Prabhupada said, don't worry. And they didn't know how she will save. They didn't know. Actually, she will only save if you have faith. And that's what they lacked. They had a problem suddenly. How will Radharani save? Prabhupada said, don't worry. If you make very opulent prasadam and distribute to Vaishnavas, Krishna will surely keep something for you. Don't worry. The whole idea is we have to cultivate that paropakara attitude, selfless attitude as leaders and managers. Because the more actually anything we do, first we should think about if I am collaborating with somebody, how am I benefiting them? We should ask. We should not ask, how will I benefit? So that is actually a win-win thinking means you should first think about how I can benefit them. So if each manager, leader thinks like this, you can imagine how wonderful it will be. So to keep cooperation and unity in diversity, we need more discussions, and that slows down the decision-making process. Actually, decision-making can also be very fast. It depends on our mode of functioning. Yeah. For example, I am president of Pune Temple, but I give lot of freedom to the team to make decisions. And the team also, many people, when they are pliable, bendable, flexible, unless there is something very pressing, they will not hold anything. They will be willing to pass it. There is another problem comes when there are multiple managers and all of them have to approve. Sometimes the approvals take time to come in the big temple. Of course, these are all problems easily can be tackled provided we understand them and plan from the beginning. Second one, individual leaders' purity and maturity may vary. When managerially put on the same hierarchy, the decisions may not be spiritually the best. See, what happens? There are two words used here, purity and maturity. Which one is important? See, maturity means accommodating nature. Purity means uncompromising purity. The purpose of purity is force. So generally what happens, those who are seasoned devotees, advanced devotees, they often feel that Prabhupada gave us such wonderful gift. We should not dilute it. We should preserve it. But then sometimes there are other devotees who feel that in the name of purity, we are not able to expand the movement because people are not ready to accept pure stuff. So we have to have some masala mix to that so that it will become acceptable for the people. So at the same time, they also agree that eventually we have to come to purity. I will tell you some examples. It will make it easy. For example, in some places they do yoga classes. And then along with yoga, they chant Mahamantra at the end. Some places they are keeping very soft kirtan. In the West, especially in the Western world, they do very soft kirtan. I had gone to one temple. There are boys, girls who will sit in a big circle and they'll have very soft, melodious kirtans going on almost 1 hour or so. And some people like that kind of soft. And the next day I was sitting evening, that's called jam kirtan. Big vapor, boom, 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 they wait. Everybody jumps all over the temple. That is liked by other youths. So they also come. They will come only for that. They don't like the previous day kirtan. They say, oh, we don't like too slow. Some like very slow and some like very loud and very fast. Another day they had some kind of, I was also sitting and watching. They sit in a circle, and one fellow throws a point. What do you think is the best thing to do in life? Huh? Like that. Somebody says social service. Somebody says we should protect the animals. Somebody says we should increase the plantation so that everybody will get oxygen. Everybody speaks like that and goes on and on almost 1 hour or so. He speaks. Toward the end, he will bring it to the point that we need spirituality. So some of you may say, hey, paying at the end, we should begin the class with that and tell them chant Hare Krishna and follow 4 regs and become Hare Krishna, where Tilak, Kantimala, become initiated devotee, come inside. Some people feel like that. Right now. So some people feel that slowly we should bring new people to Krishna consciousness. Even if you take here in the crowd, how many of you feel that we should slowly bring people to Krishna consciousness, not abruptly? You feel? There's one guy. How many of you feel that no? Kali Yuga is short, life is short, time is precious. Anytime death can strike, Corona is already on. No? So, how many of you immediately we should give Krishna consciousness? How many of you feel? Only few. There are only 2, 3. Others feel they agree for slowly giving. Right? No? Yeah. Don't worry, I am with both of you. I want to immediately give. So, he is saying it is not about time or slow or fast. He is saying we should not extinguish the fire, we should grow the fire. Actually, what it means to grow the fire, different people have different ideas. For example, one group of people told me that they are reading Ramayana. He is reading Ramayana, and the people who are coming for the program are senior citizens, he said. And the youngest senior citizen is 75 years old. Coming. And he said, I asked, how long this program is going on? They said, for 2 years it's going on. They're reading verse by verse and translations from that Gita plus Ramayana. I said, really? I asked, then how many rounds are they chanting? He said, shh, till now chanting not yet introduced. I was shocked. I said, see, if you're not introduced, this fellow will die anytime. Very old. I said, you invite me, I will come for the program. He said, no, Prabhuji, that's why we have not invited you. He said, we will invite you when they are ready. I said, when will they be ready? Next lifetime? So, different people have different idea, different ways of introducing people. Just see. So, therefore, this is a problem when we have a big community. Many people have various ideas. There are people conservative. There are people who are liberal. Some people say this chalta hai, this is all right. Some people say no, this ye nahi chalega, this will not. So therefore, the purity, for example, purity in what? Purity in the presentation of philosophy. Some people will not like mixing too much. Similarly, purity in the standard. For example, some people will say even first initiated can be allowed to do this. Some people say no, only second initiated. This is the ISKCON policy, we should follow this. And some people may say that, if we are holding a leaders meeting, everybody should come in dhoti kurta and Mataji should be in sari. Now, other people say, no problem, they come in jeans and t-shirt, no problem. The leaders are leaders in whatever dress they may be. So they may say it's all right if they come like that. It's not the devotional attire should be demanded. They may come from the office directly. Some people say that prasadam should be very sattvic, so that devotees' consciousness will become sattvic. Other people say, oh, if you're too sattvic, nobody will like chava chava chava. Nobody likes it. We should give chatpat, something spicy. Yeah. And some people will say we should give only, shastric, Brahminical Indian prasadam, like rice, sambar, rasam, dahi, all traditional Indian items. And other person say, why not pizza? Why not pasta? Why not Manchurian? Correct? No? So you will find there are going to be differences. You will find. So there will be some amount of tug of war between purity and maturity. Actually, maturity actually means to present your opinions and be willing to listen to others' opinions. Or be bold in presenting your opinion, be also sensitive to others' opinion. And you don't push down the throat of others your own opinion. Sometimes you are willing to bend a little bit. For example, should we sing classical, traditional, Indian Hare Krishna music, or we can sing Western? So we asked this one Loknath Maharaj. So Loknath Maharaj said, sometimes in the colleges when you go, if you sing traditional, if you sing Western type of music, there is Western classical also. When you sing like that, the boys like the tune very much. When you sing like that, especially when boys are passionate because they do DJ, dance in the college. When you sing similar type of tunes, they are very happy with that. And then when they grow a little bit, when they come to 4 rounds, 8 rounds, then you can put them to sit in the place and then you sing a traditional classical tune. Then they appreciate that because now Sattva has increased more now. So both are acceptable, he said. Ultimately, Mahamantra is going. That's the point. But some people may be fanatical. They will say, no, 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 what is this? This looks like some club tune. How can anybody sing this? We are Hare Krishna. Some people don't like Jambe, you should not play. Only traditional Mridanga you should play. But when you go in outdoor Harinam Sankirtan, sometimes Jambe is helpful because Mridanga cannot be heard sometimes. The whole idea is there are differences like this. Purity and maturity differences. So maturity means accommodating nature. And purity means strict nature. It appears like a bad thing, but it's not bad. Purity is also required in certain things. See, there are adaptable things and certain things you should not adapt. For example, can you tell an initiated devotee, okay, Prabhu, you keep coming to temple, even if it's chant 4 rounds, it's all right. Can you say that? You cannot change it. There you have to be very strict. Similarly, initiated devotee, if he says, Prabhuji, I'm not able to take prasadam, we cook one time and offer to Krishna, and evening we eat out in hotels. Is it all right? No. Certain things cannot be accepted. Certain things are very strict. So we have to clearly know when managerially, sometimes what may happen, when too many managers, they sometimes may go for a compromise. I'll tell you, for example, sometimes for making money to run the project, we may come up with varieties of ideas. So people may think that in the name of preaching, book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, we have not been able to collect money. So let us tone down the Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution and preaching, so that let us have some fundraising drive kind of thing. Then that's how the things become compromised. So His Holiness Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj once was in Bombay temple. I asked him a question. Maharaj, how can we maintain the purity in our Pune temple? Big temple has come up. There may be internal clashes and all. What do we do? So he said a very simple thing. He said, increase the fire of Sankirtan. He said, if you increase the fire of Sankirtan, all the material component will be burned down. He said, the more the temple is focusing on Shravanam and Kirtanam, here and Kirtan is going on, lectures are going on, preaching programs are going on, Harinam Sankirtan is going on, book distribution is going on. Shoot it up, increase it. And automatically you will see devotees' misunderstandings, quarrels, they're all like smoke. They will all be gone. They'll be driven away. And when people become more oriented towards material goals, like, this post should be given to me, and this facility should be given to me, this power or influence should be given to me, these kind of things will go away. In the early days, I remember, sometimes my guru's disciple, another guru's disciple, these things used to be there in Pune temple in the early days. Now, thousands of people are coming. In a year, there are about 8 lakh people come to a temple in Pune, big temple. So the audience is so big that, nobody has dearth of people to cultivate. Everybody is happily handing over people to others. They are ready to hand over their people to any guru's disciple now, because they say they are already overflowing beyond the nose. That much people are there. So there is no competition now. In fact, if somebody brings people to you, you say, no, enough now. I already have enough people now. Like that. So therefore, we should convert the competition into compliment. The people should. So in this way, the third one is unresolved differences among leaders seen as apparent conflicts that leads to many destructive discussions in the Sangha. See, if leaders in a committee have differences, they should not talk about it outside. In the meeting, we may talk, but we should keep confidence. We should not talk it outside. If you talk it outside, in the community, there will be cleavage in the community. Like, for example, one devotee was not sent for initiation by the committee. Outside, that devotee will ask the leader, why I was not sent, Prabhuji? Then if one of the leaders says, that person told us not to send you, everybody else agreed, that fellow didn't agree. Then what happens? This devotee will become an enemy of the devotee. So whatever is discussed in the committee should be kept very strictly confidential. And the leader should be one unit. Like Prabhupada told the example of bundle of sticks that cannot be broken. Like that. So for sustainable growth of the project individuals, both spirit and unit. Now this is very easy flowing. What I am showing now, we will conclude very quickly in 5 minutes. See, in small temple, decision making is fast and implementation of decisions is quick and effective. Communication is very effective. And a big temple, more devotees get empowered as leaders to contribute in purpose mission. Correct now? In small temple, the opportunities are less. Big temple, there is abundant opportunity. And also more and more people get connected to the temple. It's great fun. Imagine going for yatra with 3,000 devotees, 4,000 devotees. It's a very joyful thing when your temple grows. You can gather all your Vyuha program. You can gather all the multiple groups in your city, and everybody can go for yatra together. So more services and more preaching gets done. Here relationships are more personal, as all devotees can meet and participate together very regularly. Family mood can be easily experienced. And there in big temple, festivals are grand. In our NVCC temple, when you do Abhishekam and everything, oh, the hall will be jam-packed. Even the galleries also will be packed. So festivals are grand and deity worship is very opulent and attracts many visitors. Even new people are very attracted to big temple. Many rich people, the new people and all will not come to a very small temple. But if you have a bigger temple with nice festivals and everything, they are happy to come. And the leader can personally care for all the other devotees and departments. He's one man taking care of everything. And the leader's mood can be easily accepted to everybody. Whereas in the big temple, without even going out, we receive visitors from all sections of society for cultivating and conducting program. Uh, the school children, tourist groups. Yes, that is true. You get a lot of people to come to temple, and therefore there are multiple leaders who will come together and make plans, and they should all be like one unit. Funds required for basic maintenance are very nominal. But in big temple, the public relations increase. Therefore, fundraising is not difficult in the big temple also in one sense, because many, many big shots come. Like Kumar Builders, for example, in Pune, we didn't know he's Kumar Builders owner. He came and took darshan, and somebody told, they knew. And another visitor said, hey, this is Kumar Builders owner. Then immediately our devotees ran to him and took him to office, gave him prasad. So you are going to be shocked in future. Sometimes big cinema actors, actresses, and big who is who stars, they all may come here also. Eventually, when you expand preaching and build a new temple and everything. So, and also personal considerations can be above the system, policies, rules, and everything. Whereas here it provides ample opportunity for all varieties of talented devotees. Basically, diverse devotees will come, and we should celebrate diversity, not choke diversity. That we should take care. Easy to get volunteers for all different services, as usually there are less services and they are simple and requires less duration. Whereas in big temple, services are more, we need more volunteers, and it is quite possible. And it will be very nice if more and more congregation devotees come close to temple. They live around the temple, taking houses, and like I see sometimes even very good devotees stay far away and they say, I only come once in a week to temple. But if you come and stay nearby, you can come every day to temple. And then you can chant with all devotees. It's very easy in the morning when you chant with devotees. And coming close to temple has many, many plus points. Because you get seva in the temple, which you can identify with. And your children, your wife, your family members, they will find shelter in their own network. Wife will find her ladies' network. Children will find their network. And they will not give headache to you. They will liberate you because they are also busy, you are also busy. But if you are staying far away from the temple, you have to give them, attention, time, emotional support, everything. And as soon as you come from the office, then your time will be demanded. Right? No? Staying near the temple means the temple takes care. There are many advantages like that. And also, they have network of devotees in which they study together, do seva together, and they can advance very fast. When children grow up, later on they can become like Vanaprastha, like His Grace. Narahar Chaitanya Prabhu himself is a role model example for everybody here. At appropriate age, he devoted himself fully so much, giving energy time. So like that, many, many Vanaprastha devotees can take more active part in temple as well as preaching like that by coming closer to temple. Of course, currently the brahmacharis and the boys, they will put up the good morning program. But when congregation devotees come very close to temple, then they will also increase the beauty of the temple. So this part of the slideshow is what Prabhupada says about the unity in diversity. Please try to maintain the philosophy of unity in diversity. That will make our movement successful. See, unity in diversity. So, Bhakti Swami ki Sachinand Maharaj ki, Sulendran Swami Maharaj ki, Kalakanda Prabhu ki. So you can see all Prabhupada disciples, when they are all united together, it is a great joy for everybody. Yeah. See, here is orchestra. Everybody has different instruments. Still they are unitedly working, correct? Not that somebody suddenly plays something. Whatever, whoever is told to play, they play. Nobody is ego driven that they suddenly want to play themselves. So whoever is told to play, they will play. Correct, no? And here you see, car has so many parts. They are working together. You, all of you may argue with me, Prabhuji, these are all dead parts. They can easily work. We are living souls. How do you think we can work? But in spiritual world, living souls also work together as per Krishna's interest. Yeah. Here is example of living examples. In one country only, there is army, there is navy, there is air force. Correct, no? All of them are working for whose interest? Country's interest. Same manner. And they wear different type of uniforms also. Different type of weapons they use. Similarly, in a community also, there may be many groups of devotees that but they should work together. It's a point. Like 5 fingers, each finger has different purpose. Like we have this Brahman, Chitra, Vaishya, Shudra working together like a social body. The Prabhupada said, our Gaudiya Math people fought with one another after the demise of Guru Maharaj, but my disciples have already begun fighting even in my presence. So I am greatly concerned about it. Prabhupada wrote to Kirtan Swami. Material nature means dissension and disagreement in Kali Yuga, but for Krishna movement, success will depend on agreement. Even though there are varieties of engagements, if we keep Krishna in the center, that's the secret. He said, that's unity in diversity. I am therefore suggesting that all our men meet in Mayapur every year during the birth. Similarly, Prabhupada saying Mayapur, similarly, the leaders should come regularly together and clarify any misunderstanding so that we don't allow them to grow. What are the obstacles to this? Work together for a common purpose. Here it says, you see, like a child is asked to cooperate with parents to go to bed. In the same manner, we should do that. Patient. So one should not be independent. We should not be independent, but we should be independently thoughtful. That means everybody can have a unique idea which we can bring, but be detached. Be detached from their opinion. So I'll conclude here. Thank you for your patient attention. So I was given this topic because very soon your new temple is coming up. One good thing for ICC I feel is Naraj Chaitanya Prabhu has been always focusing on hearing and chanting program for all the community members here. Many visitors come regularly. Many sannyasis come. Many senior devotees come here. And a lot of training. I myself remember almost 3 years or so I was coming 4 times a year. Quarterly I would come for doing a program for the slate program for the leaders. Servant leaders, applied training education. Almost 2 full days, 1.5 days. And Sundar Sham Prabhu, having a company, corporate background, he used to put up the program exactly like a corporate seminar. He would arrange all these curtains and everything, tables and registration, and nobody can enter without registration and all the files and pens. And the way it was done, I felt it's being done in a company. So nicely it was done. And therefore, the leaders, all of them used to do dramas and do participate in the programs and everything. Same and the other congregation devotees used to regularly come here. So now you're all getting one more facility, little bigger temple than this. And I'm very confident that because your vision and mission coming from the top down has been very pure. There's nothing to worry. Even in Pune also, when we came up with the big temple, initially there was some kind of new, it's called a storm, we call it. And then eventually from the storm, it will come to form. For a period of time, you become settled, well settled. When we had a big community, like a lot of people came around the community, and they all get to see devotees very easily, closely, and they may find fault with each other. Then they hear the lectures, Maharaj says, "Aparad, we should not do Vaishnava aparad." Then everybody gave up aparad. Now they become very friendly now. So ultimately, some families told, we will not come near temple because too many devotees, and we will see very closely and we will commit aparad. They say, but the problem is far away, you can't advance so much. So therefore, Vaishnavas are like fire. Fire, you can use it in a gas stove for cooking sabji, rice, dal, everything, isn't it? But if you have fire. If you don't have fire, what can you cook? With Vaishnava association, we can progress. But the same fire can cause accident also. One should take care. That means, associate closely with Vaishnavas without committing aparad. That's the solution. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Let's express our gratitude to His Grace Radheshyam for such wonderful class by giving us the insights into how it is so wonderful to have the new temple. At the same time, what are the challenges, so that when we know what are going to come, then we can be prepared and it will help us. So let us express our gratitude to Radheshyam and request Prabhuji to again consider the previous, like Prabhuji used to come 4 times a year. Again, because of the lockdown and all, we could not get so regular personal association. So we request Prabhuji to again start back that. Let us express our gratitude by chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Also, we would request